Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show. Today we're going to be talking about money. Actually, specifically, we're going to be talking about prosperity practice that you can do on a weekly basis that's really going to help your financial situation. So please help me in welcoming my guest, Karen Russo. How are you, Karen?
Oh, Natalie, I'm so great. Thank you so much for having me, and hello to your whole wonderful Inspiration Show world.
Wonderful. Now, I know that you are the best woman in the world to be talking to our community about this subject. But why don't you share your story and your background and how you got into doing this work so that everyone else can realize how much of an amazing person you are.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, my background is both the business and corporate and banking background. So I grew up on the East Coast in the U.S. and that kind of ethnic, middle-class, North American, work hard, do well at school, and you can make it if you have a good education. So I had that solid background and was able to take myself all the way through business school at Columbia University and worked for a commercial bank. And my parents were very solid in that. Now, I also, at the same time, which many of your listeners will get, I had some really big internal challenges. So I was struggling with some addictions and with some terrible self-esteem issues. But the good news on that is the worst thing in my life led me to a spiritual experience. And so through the sort of same time I had this good girl by day, corporate stuff, understood money and work and business and banking, I also had to discover through my own journey a power greater than myself. And as I moved forward in recovery, I became really a spiritual seeker and student and went through 20 years of counseling training and study and practice with Dr. Michael Beckwith at the Agape Center, became an ordained minister. And then about 5 years ago, it became clear to me that the spiritual communities were really calling for more practical approaches to living spirituality through money. And when I would go to those real estate sessions and the marketing and online workshops and the wealth building places, what I noticed is there were a lot of strategies and tactics, but what was missing for many people was vision and faith. So out of those two things, what I created and brought forward was the money keys, which is how do you connect your spirituality, beliefs, and habits around money so that you can have peace, freedom, creativity, prosperity, and have the inner as well as the outer.
Absolutely. And that's why you're here on the show today. Because we need to marry both of them together. I mean, all the money in the world doesn't give you happiness if you're not whole and complete within yourself. And of course, all the spirituality in the world, there's not a lot that you can do to influence anything outside of you if you don't have the money to do it. So they definitely go hand in hand. Yes. So at the beginning of the show, I mentioned, we're talking about prosperity practices. So what is a prosperity practice?
Well, what I've noticed is that unless people have consistency, support, a community, that often people will just default into creating the financial modeling of their past. So prosperity practices are regular activities, and I think the word ritual is not a bad word, which means a consistent behavior, but done with a deliberate consciousness. So many people have unconscious patterns or rituals that you do around money and business and marketing and income and sales, but to make them conscious makes it a wealth ritual or a prosperity practice. So we teach two things in our community: Money Monday and Faithful Friday.
Right. I like it. So when we're talking about doing these on a weekly basis, are these like daily things that become just a natural part of our, daily behavior?
Well, absolutely. Once you get started, once any kind of habit that you want to keep going, you need to get it started, and then you need to have some consistency. So Money Monday is all about giving attention. So on Mondays, what you do is you give attention to your big why in your money and business life. So why are you growing your business? What's your overall intention? And then on Mondays, do your spiritual giving. So I'm a big believer in what's called tithing or spiritual giving. Give thanks for the 100% and give financially off the top. So you do your spiritual giving, your financial transactions for the week, which could be, if you're a business owner, you look over last week's sales records, you make intentions for this week. If you're managing personal finances, you might be looking at family finances or investments. So you do your intention, your spiritual giving, your financial transactions, and then set 2 or 3 action steps for the week that are absolutely designed to move your financial goals forward, both your process measures and your results measures. A lot of business owners are in a little bit of a passive stance, Natalie, where they're waiting to see what happens at the end of the week or the end of the month. Did I get new clients? Rather than setting goals like, I need to go to this many networking events, have this many prospecting conversations that convert into new clients and new income.
Right. So I know there's going to be a few people watching this going, okay, I really want to take some action towards creating, regular or consistent wealth in my life. What are some examples of the type of actions that we're talking about?
Yeah, I would say the type of actions include primarily business building, which often has to do with outreach, expansion, research, and it's often the courageous stuff where you have to be more visible. So it really would be anything that's a joint venture, more clients, more opportunity. And many people will put that stuff to the end of their to-do list and kind of do all their buffer stuff and respond to email first. So when you have it on Mondays, when you're spiritually inspired and clear, it can be very effective. You see, Money Monday is the masculine side of wealth building, wealth through action, which brings focus. And of course, I want to make sure we also hear about Fridays, right? So on Fridays, that's where you do your Spiritual Faith Fridays. Faithful Friday is where you bookend the week by looking back over your last week and you say, how did I do with my action steps? So you look back and say, where were my spiritual goals realized? And on Fridays, you're doing the feminine aspect, the receptivity of wealth through awareness. And you look back and you say, where did joy or creativity already show up in my business and my money? And you start to build this capacity to experience more joy and creativity. And also on Fridays, you recognize your results, your process results and your financial income or end unit results. When you do both of those, you start to build a momentum for change. And that's what makes it really a prosperity practice. And consistency brings you both the focus on Monday, the faith on Friday, and an expansion in both your inner and outer wealth.
Right. And I know that you're talking about awareness then and being, having gratitude and awareness of how joy and God came into, God or whatever you want to call that, came into your practices. But you don't have to wait till Friday to appreciate that, right? You really want to be present and dropped in the moment and be appreciating it as we're doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And really, if you have this little bit of time and energy set aside on Mondays and Fridays, then it becomes a natural part of all of your activities. So in the middle on Wednesdays when you're in a tough conversation with a potential new client who says, gee, that seems expensive, you're going to feel a sense of creativity and joy and plenty, and you're going to respond to that in a way that's already spiritually inspired.
Yeah, absolutely. So cool. So okay. So what if you have some fairly lofty money goals? So let's say that we're looking at what we're talking about doing is on a weekly basis. Are there different steps that we've got like much bigger goals? Because sometimes we can go, yeah, we can have this as our weekly target, and we go, well, I believe I can do this. But is there something different we have to do when the goal is that big that we're like, I'm not sure if I can actually reach that goal?
Yeah, I think it's both and. I'd be interested in how you see it. I think it's both and. I think people can be very inspired by lofty goals that seem like a giant transformational step. And there's something about on a weekly basis saying, see, I'm on my way. I'm creating that million or 10 or $100 million business or contribution. And the way I'm doing it today is through this $100,000 project. So there's something around both and. You keep your weekly, consistent, believable activities because then you prove to yourself, see, I'm trustworthy. See, I'm consistent. And at the same time, the other practice I would say that you might do from time to time is what I would call visioning, where you tune into the inspirational, enormous idea about what's possible for you and your contribution.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, from my angle as well, it's like we sometimes, especially when it's a bigger goal, we forget to celebrate the little wins and all the things that went right. You know,
Yes.
we go, okay, oh my God, I really want to get this $100,000, but it's taking me forever, and we get impatient. And we're like, and then the doubt and fear starts to creep in, and then we're like, you know, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do this. But if we can keep that focus on the little wins and the little and everything that went right for us, and even the smallest of increments, the smallest of steps that's actually moving us in that forward direction, then that's what helps to keep that motivation. So is there a way that you get people to, or that you recommend that people, you know, keep a track of this? You know, are there certain records, especially, you know, because we're talking about like the spirituality and the conscious side. Is there a way that people can keep a track of this that you recommend is best?
Yeah, I would say incorporate this kind of activity into all of your regular journaling. So I really encourage people to have a spiritual journal. So like a gratitude journal or spiritual journal. So you want that kind of, you're capturing that there. And then also, I really feel like people, whatever your business or financial world is, that you should be in your income statements, your balance sheet, your transactions, your online, on a regular basis. So no matter, even if you've got a team of bookkeepers or you're the artistic one and it's not really your thing, no matter where you are on that spectrum, I say you want to be using those kinds of financial tracking and a journal as a way to just keep connected to it. And I loved what you said, Natalie, about, you know, the larger goal. One of the things you're also building is not just the external results, but you're building, here's who I am as a leader. Like, partly what you want to be celebrating is see how much more courageous, how much more powerful, how much more free I am as a leader. Like, who am I becoming at this 6, 7, and beyond level? That's part of what you're building.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with you 1,000% on everything that you've said today. And like we said before, it's like, you know, and I say this about law of attraction, but with spirituality is exactly the same thing. There are two different ways to build a business, or to, you know, to approach your career. There is the conscious masculine things that you need to do, the sales calls and the, you know, and the budgeting and all those, the marketing and all those kind of things that you must do to build a business. But then if you want to be able to reach those lofty, audacious, amazing goals that you don't have a plan for, but you know that that it is possible, and that you sit in the vision of that, which is obviously what Mind Movies is all about, and you're taking this action, then what we're doing is eliciting the help of the universe or the help of God to be able to bring about those amazing opportunities and chance meetings and so forth that helps us reach those goals, but and things that fall into place that we could never have planned for in a million years anyway, to be able to you know, to reach that amazing new heights.
Yes, I so appreciate how you've placed that. I think it's both and, because that partly
Yes.
what that does is it uses the best of us and it accesses the unplanned for divine inspiration, and it connects to what we're doing on a daily basis. I think the people I see that are most successful are really inclusive of both of those energies.
Absolutely, which is exactly what we are here at Mind Movies as well. And I know that you are too. So Karen, if people want to connect with you and find out more about this and your books and everything, where can we send them to connect with you?
Well, the best place to start is themoneykeys.com. So you'll see that there on the screen. So THEMONEYKEYS.com. If you go to themoneykeys.com, what you'll find is a book chapter and an audio guide, Escaping the Money Traps. And then for those that think, ooh, I'd like to really put those prosperity practices into action and be connected to our global community, you can check out moneykeysspecial.com. And just for Mind Movies, folks, at moneykeysspecial.com, you can see an option for doing a 3-month trial of our global online community. So that's a great place to go as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, especially if you're looking at creating a goal that maybe is definitely outside of your comfort zone and something that you haven't achieved before, surrounding yourself with the right people and the right community to give you the support and the advice that you need is exceptionally important. So, Karen, I want to thank you so much for offering that to our community. You know, and if you have financial goals this year, then I really encourage you to take advantage of that. And if you click on the banner to the side there, you'll go straight through to Karen's site from there as well. So thanks again, Karen. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you as usual.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, darling. Now, I encourage you guys to share this video. Now, you can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. Also, make sure that you leave your email in the box on this page so I can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. It's actually valued at $87, and I would love to send it to you for free. And don't forget to click on the banner to the side if you're here online, or the banner underneath if you're on the app, to go straight through to Karen's website from there. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.